Good day, everyone. This is going to be the first of many reviews. First off here, we have the Sony Vaio S15 series. It's an excellent laptop, and I'm going to go across all the pros and cons of this laptop and definitely tell you if it's worth it or not. This one is the white version. It comes in 3 different colors. You have black, silver, and white. First off, it's a very thin laptop. Very thin, very light. It weighs just about 5 pounds or so, give or take. A few inputs as follows. Power. USB 2.0 with the ability to charge devices while the computer's off. 2 USB 3.0 ports, HDMI, VGA, Ethernet, a SD card slot, and a memory stick. Pro Duo slot. On the other side, we have a Blu-Ray Drive slot loader, Kensington lock, microphone port, and headphone jack. This headphone jack is not a dual port where you can have a microphone or headset based. You will have to plug in a microphone separately. On the back, there's nothing but ventilation. Sony has changed this laptop in a way where all the hot air is shot out through there, and all the air is intaking from here, as you can see. On the back, I will cover up the serial number. Sony integrated the battery underneath this flap. You have the ability to remove one memory chip as well as the hard drive. One problem with this laptop, and this is unfortunately a direction that a lot of computer manufacturers are going, they are soldering 4 gigs to the board and only leaving you with 1 upgrade slot. This laptop currently can max out at 12 gigs, which it currently is, but 16 gigs is impossible with this at this point in time. Now let's open her up. And this laptop has a feature called Quick Wake or Fast Wake. And as you can see, the screen already just turned on. They took the approach that Apple has taken with their MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs, where you open up the lid, it instantly fires up, and you're ready to go. I have noticed that there is a problem with this. If you look at the hard drive indicator light, sometimes the computer just doesn't wake up correctly. This might be due to just some software or BIOS issue, but sometimes the computer is unresponsive when quick waking. You can turn this off in the control panel. I have not yet done that. Now on this computer you have a backlit keyboard. I will simulate it so you can see. Unfortunately with the white and silver colors, because they're using silver keys and because of the backlight color, sometimes the text will blend in where you can't distinctly see a key. And we'll show you. We'll zoom in here so you can see what a key looks like. And as you can see, the enter key, the N is a little difficult to read. If you look at the scroll lock, you really can't distinctly see it. But if you turn out the lights, it's actually pretty crisp. And we'll turn off the backlighting, and as you can see, it's all black. Next, we'll show off the speakers. Speakers are indicated here, as well as over here on the other side of the switch. They're not too loud, not too fancy. Sony, as far as I've been dealing with their products, their speakers aren't exactly the best. In my personal opinion, I believe that MacBook Pros have the best laptop speakers. Again, I've never dealt with like Lenovo. I haven't dealt with Dell in a long time, nor have I dealt with HP. But yeah, these aren't exactly the best speakers, but they get the job done for the most part. Next, I want to show off a switch. Now, Sony incorporated what is called NVIDIA's Optimus technology, which allows you to have an integrated graphics card as well as a dedicated, but they give you the ability to force only the integrated. So you have a stamina/speed switch. When you go to speed, you can configure in the software to specify which applications will use only the integrated and what applications will use dedicated. So if you're using video editing programs, and if NVIDIA notices that you'll take advantage of QuickSync, which is part of Intel's processor technology, it will automatically tell that application here, you're going to use the integrated graphics. Because this laptop has a Kepler card, NVENC, which is by NVIDIA, which is a competing technology against QuickSync, NVENC in many cases is much faster than QuickSync, so I was forced to make some changes. If the application supports it, by all means, change it. Now we have Windows 8. I'm a big fan and supporter of Windows 8. I believe Microsoft did a very, very good job with Windows 8. And it's very fluid and very fast. One thing I forgot to mention is the trackpad. A lot of laptops are starting to go to the trackpad which was first shown on Apple products. It works in very, very similar fashion. When you first get it out of the box, it does that backward scrolling, which luckily you can change. But it also has gesture support. I have turned them off because I found them not to work well for myself. But again, it might be different for you. I think it's very well done. It's not glass, it's plastic, and it has a more matte finish to it, so it's not as silky as the Apple products, but then again, it does a very good job. It does have two finger support, so if you wanted to right click, you just use 2 fingers and you can do your right clicks. As for performance, this laptop is pretty powerful, and I'll show you with a game. I'll show you with the Need for Speed Most Wanted. Now this is running off a battery. I had dealt with the Sony product in the past where if you had it running off battery, performance was severely limited. That is not the case with this laptop. With the speed switch on, nothing is underclocked. This laptop has a quad-core i7 3620M. Let's back out of this. Give you guys a good idea for the speakers. This is a Mercedes-Benz. Very awesome game, by the way. If you guys have not played it, it's an excellent game. I have not played the console version, but PC is very well done. Now, this is running at native resolution with all the settings lowered down. It runs well for the most part. I think optimizations need to be made to the game. But as you can hear, the speakers are pretty good. Lower it for a while. The other great thing is you will not hear the fan. The fan is very quiet compared to other laptops I've owned in the past. From my experience, it is much quieter than a MacBook Pro 15-inch, which has 2 fans. As I said, this is a very capable laptop. When it comes to gaming, you really can't go wrong with it. Just, again, you're not going to expect to crank up the settings to max, but the I believe it's the GT 640M LE, and LE stands for low energy. So it's basically like those low voltage processors from Intel. You can overclock it through third-party mods, and I've seen some of them say that the performance is almost doubled. I have not personally done it, and I do not suggest people do it unless you really want to risk your hardware. Now going back to the laptop, it has a high-definition front-facing camera on it. It's a reasonable quality. I've used it for Skype and stuff. It's nothing fancy. It's pretty much the same as a MacBook Pro's, what they call it, iSight HD, or FaceTime camera as they call it now. The screen is IPS. Now, earlier versions of this laptop had an issue where if you were using anything displaying red, it was a problem, as noted by Netflix. But the beauty of IPS is no matter what the angle is, the colors are always going to be the same. You can tilt this laptop any which way. You can tilt it back this way. And as you can see in the video, the colors aren't going to change. Same deal if you go off to the side. colors are just perfect. They did correct the issue with the screen. It used to display orange. Also, blues looked more like purple. But again, they've corrected this. If you buy a laptop that has the problem, just send it back to Sony, and from what people are saying, you're going to get a replacement back. Now, battery life. From my experience, the battery life is excellent. It's not as good as an Apple product. I definitely say Apple has definitely set themselves apart where they focus on battery life on their laptops. I got about 3.5 to 4 hours. But one thing Sony allows you to do is purchase an extended battery. When you hook up the external battery, you remove this plate here, and you're able to clip on a battery which adds maybe an additional pound or so, and it's not that much thicker. But other than that, you really can't go wrong with this laptop. I highly recommend, if you're in for looking into laptops, Sony laptops have never failed me, as well as their computers. My experience with Sony Vaio goes far back as 1997. My very first computer was a Sony Vaio desktop. I had that thing for over 10 years, and not a single part has ever failed in there. And as I'm saying, from my experience, Sony products are very well built, minus their PlayStation products. But from a laptop standpoint, you cannot go wrong with a Sony Vaio. So take care, guys. If you have any other questions, please drop a comment below. If there's something you want me to display on this laptop, please do not hesitate to ask. I will be more than willing to do so. Take care, guys. Look out for future product reviews and content.